wants to follow this one.
You'll get it as we
Yeah,
go.
very efficient.
I'm from Fluoride-free Hastings, and we represent a group of people. Here they are. You'll see them on the screen in a minute. My name is Angela Hare, and I'm a homeopath in Havelock North and Hastings, and have been there for 20 years. So that means I've met a lot of people with health issues over 20 years. And I have a diploma of homeopathy, an advanced diploma of homeopathy, and I have a BSc Honours in psychology from Canterbury University. So I have a good understanding of scientific research. This legislation does not require This legislation does not require DHBs to monitor, assess, individualise, or even look at possible health impacts from drinking fluoridated water. This is a very poor piece of legislation because of that, which will add to the health costs of this country and not reduce them, as the dental associations may try to suggest. Now I want to bring you some hard evidence that we have collected in Hastings, because we think that this is very important information for being able to make a decision about this. And it's called the Hastings Fluoride-Free Serum, or the Fluoride Pilot Study. And there are 13 people, I believe, that you have this. Yes? And this was from the inspiration of a man that has looked at water in Hastings for many, many years. And in 2003, he had a fluoride blood test. He wanted to know what's his level, because he'd lived all his life in Hastings. And the next day, the Canterbury Research Labs rang him directly and said, your level is 2.9 millimole per litre. You must stop all sources of fluoride, tea, water, any chemicals, any medications you're taking, and so on. And his result was considered high by the technician. So, jump 10 years to 2013, and we start doing the blood tests for people that are in our group, primarily because they were keen and interested to know what their levels might be. And I want to draw your attention to my blood test. Sorry, I don't know what happened to my blood test. Yeah, sorry, thank you. So that's 007R. Right. So I was a baby in Gisborne in 1961, living rurally, and I was given fluoride tablets from the age of 5 months old until at least age 6 or 7. I remember taking them as a child. I had 10 years living in fluoridated Wellington and working in Havelock North, but living rurally. When I got my, when I started to research fluoride, I started to avoid it as much as possible because I could see health effects from it. Now in 2014, I was diagnosed with a rare pineal tumour. That pineal tumour is called a pineal parenchyma tumour, intermediate in differentiation. which means it's tissue similar to a kidney, and it is both malignant and benign. Now you can understand this was quite a shock for me, following on from the fluoride referendum that I had led in Hastings in 2013. Now, dental fluorosis is an outward sign of fluoride. There we go. Is the outward sign of fluoride poisoning. But I didn't develop fluorosis. So I asked the question, does the body have other places where it stores fluoride? And I did research on this, and sure enough, anywhere there is calcium in the body, fluoride can be stored. So let's look at the bones, the kidneys, the teeth, and the pineal gland. And I've put in my submission the research by Jennifer Luke, who had the hypothesis that the pineal gland would accumulate fluoride because it's a calcifying gland. So she extracted fluoride from 11 cadavers. She wanted to see, these people had lived all their lives in a fluoridated community, what was their level of fluoride in their pineal gland. And the average level was 9,000 parts per million, similar to what you would get in skeletal fluorosis. The highest accumulation of her sample was 21,000 parts per million. And that's what you find in somebody with crippling skeletal fluorosis. So from that, I took the idea that the tumour that I have in my brain is actually a result of the huge amounts of fluoride I accumulated as a baby when I was ingesting 1.1 milligram F-tabs. Now my mother gave those F-tabs to me in good faith on the recommendation of the Ministry of Health, or the Health Department in those days. And she has been horrified to know that it may have caused me to have cancer in my brain. Now I want to draw your attention to 003 HN. So that's the one that has the H beside it. This woman has lived in Havelock North for 59 years. So at the time of the testing, she was 71 years old, and she can recall starting fluoride in 1954 in Hastings, and 2 years after that she developed a thyroid condition, and that thyroid condition has been very difficult to manage all of her life until she got this result. When she got this result, this blood test result, which was 5 millimoles per litre, she then wrote to Dr. Declan Moore, who's an Irish expert on fluoridation, and he said, yes, women at a certain age in life are at risk of the toxic effects of fluoride. And the data you sent me would make me of the opinion, based on scientific studies, that your blood levels indicate chronic, long-term fluoride exposure. And this exposure is also likely to have a direct effect on your thyroid and associated health problems.
Now, we're about half a minute left out of your 10, but you've had a bit of a struggle, and given that you're moving on to yours, I'll let you have another minute on your
Thank you.
on this time, and then we can move on to yours.
Great, thank you. So I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that her husband, who lives in the same house, drinks the same water, who's 002 HN, his level was 1.9. So nowhere near as high as hers, but he doesn't drink water, he drinks milk. And he doesn't have a thyroid problem, he has some other problems. And finally I want to draw your attention to 005HN, and this is an elderly woman who I had in my practice for many years. She was aged 81 at the time we did the blood test, and her level was 5.9 millimole per litre. She was repeatedly hospitalised, and what was very interesting was she could spend 2 to 3 weeks in hospital, and then she'd start to feel okay again, and then she'd go out to the community. After she'd been in the community for a while, she'd relapse again and have to go back into hospital. Now, what you might know about Hastings District Hospital is that it has no fluoride in the drinking water there. So effectively, she was being a sample of one and demonstrating to us that fluoride can cause a problem, and when it's withdrawn, the person will improve again. Her spine collapsed, her gut was hugely distended, she had extremely painful arthritis, and she died a month after this result. And she was unable to avoid fluoride, except if she went to hospital.
Thank you. I'm going to have to stop you on the fluoride-free submission and ask, would you move on to yours if you've got some other points that... We'll give you another 5 minutes to use however you...
Yeah, thank you.
Whichever way you wish. Yeah.
I think it's more important we talk about
and that's fine, that's your call. So, yeah, it's your 5 minutes.
So the summary of results shows us that there was, among these 13 people, an average millimole per litre of 2.6. The reference range given by the Canterbury Research Labs was 0.3 to 2.2 millimole per litre, and the average age of these people was between 45 to 81 years. No one was having fluoride treatment at the time, and in 2003, 2.2 millimoles per litre triggered a call to the patient to tell him to avoid all sources of fluoride. Remember that? I said that at the beginning. But in 2013, 5.9 millimoles per litre didn't even get an H or an HH on her blood test, notifying her doctor that there might be a problem here. So something happened between 2003 and 2013, which was a shift in policy with the Canterbury Research Labs, and that is a huge red flag as far as I'm concerned. So in India, where Dr. Sushila works, the normal upper limit for fluoride is 1 millimole per litre. In Ireland, Dr. Declan Wall considers 1 millimole per litre the upper limit for people. And yet our range went from 0.9, yes, to 5.9. So there's a huge discrepancy in these numbers between a non-fluoridated community and a fluoridated community. And I have to say that this research has never been done in Hastings or any other fluoridated community as far as I know. And I think it should be done in every community. And I think it is the responsibility of the Ministry of Health to be doing this research and showing people this research before any fluoridation decision can be made. It's extremely important that the community understand what is the health risks for them by ingesting water continuously over a long period of time. They are not told that it accumulates in their bodies over time, and they are not told that there are many places where it can accumulate. And I'll point out in the submission that I have given that Hastings has a lot of people who have kidney problems. It costs our DHB $20,000 to $30,000 plus a year to manage those people, and they cannot avoid, many of them cannot avoid fluoride when it is put into their water. And yet if they go to hospital, they can avoid it, and if they're on dialysis, they can avoid it. because dialysis water does not contain fluoride. So I think I'll stop there, and then if there's any questions, please be free to ask.
No, it's been very useful submission, very detailed. Thank you for taking the time and trouble to prepare as much detail as you have.
Absolutely. Just one question from me. Did you want to leave, did you want your slides to be part of to stay here as part of the recording?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I asked.
Yeah.